Hi everyone, welcome to episode 2 of The Adventures of Artemis and Athena. I am Artemis, that's Athena, and today we are going in. We are talking about women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, we're only talking about 5 today, and we feel like they're pretty badass.
They're the big 5.
Yes, in our opinion, they are the big 5. That is up for interpretation. But with WandaVision being so new and so hyped up right now, we felt like this would be the perfect opportunity to really kind of dive in and see what we're thinking. So, take it away, Athena. You're Athena.
So we're going to start with, like we said, the top, or the big 5. That really kind of snowballed the other fantastic women of Marvel. And we're going to try to go in some sort of chronological, timeline-wise, not when the movies came out-wise, order. So we're going to start with Peggy, Margaret Carter, her favorite.
Yes.
We're going to talk about Natasha Romanov, our Black Widow. Her movie is hopefully coming out in May. Hopefully we won't have any more pushbacks. We're also going to talk about Gamora and Nebula together. And Wanda, of course, as well as Shuri, because she's so important to the universe. And to make it even more fun and entertaining, we are also going to try keep this short and sweet, because we could go on for 3 hours each about each person.
Yeah.
So we are going to do a 3-minute timer situation with a little sound and buzzer to give us a heart attack at the right time.
And if you like it, comment down in the comment section. Let's name our little timer. I'm here for good punny names. So
yes, because I'm sure he'll reappear again, or it could be a she, or it's a they,
or they.
Yeah, we want just fabulous names so we can constantly reference the timer.
And we'll set up a vote if we get amazing names. We'll set that up. I'll figure out how to do that.
So, but to start this all off, we're going to talk about Peggy Carter, this one's favorite. So, on the count of 3, 3, 2, 1, go.
Margaret Carter. Okay, so first of all, I've always been into super vintage type situations. And then First Avenger came out. I was still fairly new to the MCU, and here was this strong, badass female who was running these boys around. And for me, it resonated with me. She is my person. I love her to pieces. I will die on that hill. Thank you.
And I think what's so interesting about Peggy is that there is such a femininity to her without sacrificing any strength.
Yes.
And yes, that's indicative of the time that she's set. We're set in World War II. And I think that's such a great representation for women of that era.
Yes.
You have your red lips, your fantastic hair that I could never achieve on my own. And yet you are incredibly strong.
Yeah.
And she has such a strong voice.
And that is seen in the First Avenger when she is running Steve Rogers' platoon. I think that's regiment. I don't know. She's running them around and she decks a guy for calling her Queen Elizabeth. That for me was ooh, okay, I like her. And I feel like a lot of people loved the Agent Carter series, and it's a shame that we didn't get more of that. So
I would have liked just so much more, because I think it had such a strong voice. I mean, sometimes she was very about her feminism, and sometimes it was very subtle. And I think both are so valid and so important to hear. And not to mention that canon-wise, I mean, it's so important for the formation of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes. And we see that. I personally would have loved to see, more of a time jump, to see her, when she's working with Kim and she's working with S.H.I.E.L.D. and I want to see more of her life post-Cap, because we do see the heartache that comes with losing Steve Rogers. But I personally would have loved to see more of her life post World War II.
And that creation of S.H.I.E.L.D., because it's referenced so much, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the TV show, in the movies. And to be able to see that would be so great. So, hey, Disney Plus and Marvel, if you want to give us more.
Yeah, hey, could you bring it back? And please bring Haley Atwell back, because she's perfection. Thank you.
I mean, you can't do Agent Carter without her. So.
Yeah. And for me, like, I love that dynamic that she brings. She is a strong woman, so.
Yay!
Hey, we did it!
Buzzer! This is gonna get harder, though. We did do a trial run. So
we did.
That was a nightmare. Anyway. But from there, we go to Miss Natasha Romanov.
Yes.
We are introduced to as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. So, here we go.
Let's do this.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, starting. So
Natasha.
we see her in Iron Man 2.
Yes.
And that was such, I think, a big moment when they decided to introduce Black Widow into the MCU. And they did so as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. And we don't get really strong background, unless you know her from the comics. Strong background of Nat, but through snippets throughout the cinematic universe. She's kind of this enigma, which I think is fascinating. I mean, I think it's almost purposeful because she's a spy.
Yeah.
But I think it's really interesting about her growth is that we see these backstories. And then as we see these backstories and these vulnerable parts of her, from that torture, from as a Russian spy to create who she is, that we see her become more vulnerable and more open.
And for me, one of the biggest parts of growth for her is seeing that little, like, snippet or nugget, if you will, of romance between her and Bruce. And I almost like that we don't see a whole lot of it.
It's just enough for her to start to trust that I don't have to put on a mask and be flirty and have this type of romance, that I can have a real connection with someone. And that makes her stronger, I think.
And the idea of her and Hawkeye having this kind of brother-sister type relationship.
Best of friends. I love it.
So cool. Because you can see that there is pure platonic love for each other without it being romantic. And I think that brings strength to her, especially when she gives everything up so that Clint can have his family, his farm, his wife, his family.
Because her sacrifice there was, I'm giving everything up for my family.
Yeah.
This is my gift to my family that I have built so that they can keep living and they can have their families.
Yeah.
This is what I can do.
I think that is the epitome of what being a hero is. It's putting everything on the line and being willing to give it up so that someone you love and you care about can have a better life. Because that's really all Clint wanted.
Yeah.
So for her to be on Vormir and realizing this is where I can give him that gift is indicative of the heart that she hides.
Look at that. Nice and red for the bow. But on the note of family, giving everything up for family, we move on to the fabulous Sisters of He Who Shall Not Be Named.
We're not
Sorry.
talking about Voldemort here, guys.
No, he's purple and he's gross and he shall not have a name.
Yes.
So, here we go with Gamora and Nebula and 3, 2, 1, go!
So I will be the first to tell you I am not super versed on Guardians of the Galaxy. I've seen the movies. I personally just gravitate more towards Captain America and that kind of plot line. I have seen them. I can talk about them, but this is really Athena's arena, if you will.
I love Guardians of the Galaxy. I just gravitate towards that kind of feel to the film. The music, kind of the fun aspect, but I think there's a real serious heart to it. And I think a lot of that does come from Gamora and Nebula. I mean, yes, we were introduced to them both as assassin that were presented as very hardened women who have a crap ton of respect, being terrifying, which I think is so fascinating that these women are the assassins. You do not want. But I think there's such this idea of sibling rivalry because you have Gamora, who's the favorite. That's not even minced in any narrative.
No.
And Neb, who wants that favoritism. And I think that's such a family dynamic. And the fact that they're able to, throughout these films, get to a point where they can create their own family together. And realizing after beating each other up that we just want to be each other's family.
And I think that is hugely seen in Infinity Wars and Endgame because you've seen them broken and hardened against each other in the first Guardian movies. And then you kind of see them break down that wall and come together in Infinity Wars, and even more so in Endgame.
Especially when a version of Gamora is back.
Yes.
Like, you can just see Nebula go, this is my second chance to have my sister. Knowing everything that I know previous. And I think that's fascinating, is the growth of the two characters, the redemptive growth for themselves, that they redeem themselves in their own eyes. They don't necessarily need to do it in others' eyes, but for themselves, they see some change.
Yeah, they have each other. And that's really all that matters, especially in the world of Gamora and Nebula. You know, if I've got my family, that's all I need.
Yeah. Because that's been drilled into them as children of the Purple Man. That this is what matters. Loyalty to family. And to the Purple Man, that meant to Purple Man. But what they define family is each other. And that their loyalty is to each other. There we are.
I think that wrapped up nicely, honestly. So moving on from like familial into our current trendy gal, Miss Wanda Maximoff.
Which I'm so glad that she's getting some recognition. She is honestly one of my all-time favorite comic characters. Across the board, Marvel, of course, it's Scarlet Witch. So I love her. So I'm so glad. Shake it out. Shake it out. Ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So we have Wanda Maximoff, who is such an interesting character and an interesting plot for the MCU. Because we are introduced to her and her brother, who are very young. We cannot miss the fact that at the time we are introduced to them, they are basically children. And they are introduced as terrorists. Which is, I mean, if you go back into the comic lore. Yeah. And that radicalization of their trauma and their grief to build them into super weapons and then to set them loose. And what I think is fascinating is that in doing so, they come to realization that they are wrong.
Yeah.
And then they use what gifts they have in a way that's for good. And I think that's such a bold statement to really delve in.
Yeah. And I think with, and at the time of recording this, guys, the last episode of WandaVision has not come out. I think seeing that dynamic and then seeing the loss of Pietro, seeing and feeling the loss of everyone that Wanda has lost is something human that we all go through. And to see her have to navigate her life without the person who has always been by her side.
Yeah. And then she forms this family.
Yeah.
She forms this connection to Vision. And I think a
Which is
lot of way
beautiful.
because there is this shared commonality, I think, in a lot of ways. And then that is also ripped from her.
Yeah.
So she continues to build these families. And I think we can't forget the fact that Wanda is so powerful. She can feel that. She can feel the loss. It's there.
Yeah.
She knows it. And let's not pretend that if we didn't have those same powers and that same background and that same trauma, that we wouldn't do what she did. I mean, some people will say, no, I wouldn't. But that grief is so strong. And it's such an important statement right now as we go through this pandemic and we've lost over 500,000 people.
And I think having WandaVision coming out right now is a huge metaphor for everything that we've been through. And it's a really, I don't want to say nice way, but it is a accurate, cathartic way of expressing everything that not only the character, but we as people, as a humanity has gone through.
Yeah.
And
the bubble. But I think that was a good point. I think that was nice ending there.
Nice little bow on the end.
So that was dark and sad.
And now we're gonna lighten it up.
Because the next one is SHURI, who is all hope to me.
Yes.
So
there's a lot about SHURI that I adore.
Alrighty, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
So first off, I love the character SHURI. She is a young woman of color in a STEM concentration, which for small children of every nationality, every race is so cool. To see someone who is that young, who is respected.
And I think that's the really strong point, is that she is young and she is like the intelligent mind of the world.
Yeah.
Like Cap, Bruce, and I'm pretty sure Tony would defect to her, which I'm really sad that Tony and SHURI didn't have. So cool. But that you can say that to a young person, that you can have this intelligence at a young age and be respected and not be maligned because, oh, you're 16. Well, that doesn't, I mean, if the intelligence is there and the facts are there, that doesn't matter. You have that intelligence. And SHURI kind of shows in a way that still being a young person is.
Yeah.
I'm still going to sass you. I'm still going to tease my brother. I don't care if he's king. I'm going to film him when he falls on his butt and I'll put it on the internet. Like, and I think that's so sweet and hopeful.
Yes. Yeah. And I feel like, unfortunately, we don't have the option of T'Challa anymore. I feel like having SHURI move into the mantle really brings a new found idea of hope for the Wakandan people.
Because she will be a different type of Black Panther. And it is comic canon. So it's not out of the bounds. And I think that putting someone in STEM who is intelligent, who isn't even shy about that, into a superhero role, is so important. I mean, yes, we have Tony, we have Vision, we have Spider-Man, but this is different. This is a young woman.
Yeah. And
who is the intelligent person in the world.
She is extremely smart, and she's a Spitfire. So to have that kind of combination for, you know, someone who might play well off of Spidey, who might play well off of Bruce, you know, we have that fresh eye. Well, whereas if we kept going with the T'Challa plotline, we might not see.
And I don't know, she just always has represented this hope, this next generation of hope.
She's that wide-eyed, let's make the world a better place.
Yes. But yay, we did it! And I do like that it ended on SHURI and hope.
Yeah. Because
and the future.
That's all, yeah.
That's what we have next.
And, you know, this pandemic is going to end, guys. Like, we will get there. It may not be instantaneous, but I feel like we'll get there.
So, yay! We got through it. 5 ladies of Marvel!
Yay! And what do you guys think? Like, is this something that becomes like a little series within our series? Like, let us know.
And if you have certain characters, and we're not closed off to just Marvel. I'm a DC girl. I started off as DC. So, equal opportunity comic lover. And I will educate that one.
Hi.
Where needed.
I'm a Marvel head, and I will die on that hill. Thank you.
Don't worry. I'll send her cliff notes.
I was never a comic book reader as a young person. Got into it when I hit 18.
And that's important to know because of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting a new generation of women even involved in comics because we are seeing these strong women on the screen.
Yeah.
So, if you come to comics because of films, you are still a comic and superhero nerd. Welcome. Yes. We'll make T-shirts or something.
Yes. we'll make mugs.
Mugs are the best. Coffee. So, with our Marvels ending for now, we're going to switch gears and talk about different styles of pinup next week. There are so many in the pinup community, and they're so much fun, and they're so quirky in themselves.
Yes.
That we just want to talk about them.
And this is a brief overview. We obviously have our favorite styles that we kind of lean towards, and other women might not agree with us as far as, you know, that's not my style, and that's fine.
And that's why there's so many styles that we just wanted to, because we are so involved in the pinup community, we want to showcase all the different styles and say that there is a style for every single person. Even if you don't like putting makeup on and putting on heels or fluffy petticoats. Like, there is something for everyone in the community. There is. Regardless of gender and gender identity. And we really just want to open our arms and say, look, we got you. We're going to hug you forever. You.
Yes. And, there are certain styles of pinup that might be more appropriate for certain occasions. And we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. But really, we're all about inclusivity. So,
and if you have certain styles between now and when we do that, you want to talk about, or you want to see us talk about, shoot us a line.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in there and we'll look into it too.
We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We'll have our email down in the description box. So definitely, interact with us. We're here to make content for you.
Yes. So
while still being our nerdy selves. But we just wanted to thank you guys for tuning in. We're having a lot of fun with this. So, anything, Athena, before we log off?
Not today. I'm so excited for more, though. All right. Give us a shout out.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.